NFL Week 4 Monday Night Football has two games as the Jets visit the Dolphins in Game 1. Broncos host the Bengals in the other. We're going to break down both of these games. We've got best bets. We're going to address the Dolphins actually playing good football last week. Talk about who exactly the Denver Broncos are after a 1-2 start and much, much more. Welcome to the channel. If you could please hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know what your favorite bets for Monday Night Football are. It would be greatly appreciated. We love hearing from you guys and talking all things betting. I am Ninja, joined by NFL betting expert Tony Farmer. And Tony, preseason, if we can rewind, we put out a video on a 2025 futures bet that you absolutely love. The Miami Dolphins, these Miami Dolphins, to finish with the worst record in the league. It was plus 2,500 at that point. As we sit here today, going into week 4 at DraftKings, it's currently plus 1,100. How are you feeling about that ticket?
I'm feeling good. Obviously, the 0-3 start, you can't get a better start than that. I think I'm going to need a little help, though. I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm going to need the Saints to win, at some point. Like, they've got 2 games against the Panthers. That's probably what it's going to take in order to win this bet. So, obviously, like that it's gone from 25-1 down to, like you said, 11-1, but I still got some more work to do. I'm not getting too pumped about it yet. I will say this, though. If this bet hits, I will be out for blood in the comments of that video because there were some Dolphins fans who had some very unkind things to say about that bet when I made it. So I'm saving the receipts, and if it hits, I'm coming for you guys.
He's coming for Dolphins fans. I actually thought, Tony, Miami looked pretty good against Buffalo in week 3. Now, of course, they lost the game, but there were some things that went well. I thought Jalen Waddle came up big in a few spots. I thought some of the defensive play calling was good. I thought they looked good against the pass. Can these Dolphins maybe use that week 3 performance as something to build off of a little bit here?
Yeah, I agree. I think they put up a good fight on Thursday. And remember, because they played Thursday, they've got some extra rest for this game against the Jets. There is a lot of positives here. As a team, they averaged 5.2 yards a carry. Tyreek Hill got his first touchdown. Jalen Waddle has now caught touchdowns in back-to-back games. They were 3 for 3 in the red zone, 11 of 16 on 3rd or 4th down. Lots of positives here, but they got to stop with the mental mistakes. I feel like the mental mistakes have been a hallmark of the Mike McDaniel era. They had more penalty yards in that game, and then, of course, the big one on that roughing the kicker penalty that basically lost the game for them. They got to clean those things up.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Sloppy mistake down the stretch there. A defense that has not forced a turnover. Same as the Jets, actually. The Jets have 2 heartbreaking losses after 3 weeks here. Is this a team, Tony, that maybe a bit better than that record indicates? Though maybe a better question is, who has more to lose in this game on Monday night?
I don't think the Jets are better than their record indicates. Like, they're scrappy, and they could be 1-2 right now. They've lost a couple close games. But when you look at the numbers here, they rank 28th in DVOA defense, 26th in DVOA offense, and that takes into consideration strength of schedule. I think an 0-3 record fits what this team is right now. Little, I guess you'd call it momentum from last week's, like, almost come from behind win against the Bucs. Something to at least chew on and feel good about heading into this game. We'll see if they can build on it.
Let's talk about what you're betting for this one. Currently, sort of midweek, Miami 2.5-point home favorites here. Minus 154 on the money line with the Jets coming back at plus 130. These at FanDuel here. Total 44.5, over minus 112, under minus 108. What are you looking at betting here, Tony?
Yeah, I thought long and hard about this one. I ended up not betting on this one. I got to lean here toward the Dolphins. My power rankings have these 2 teams pretty much right on top of each other, and then I give a little edge to the Dolphins because they're at home. They've got extra rest, and I think they looked a lot better last week than the Jets did. So strong lean to the Dolphins, but not betting it.
And as we sit here inside that key number of 3, so 2.5 there for the Fins at home. And like you said, good point with the extra rest as well. BetMGM offers what's called a second chance NFL first touchdown scorer promo, which goes like this. If you place a first touchdown scorer bet, which we all do, and your pick doesn't score first, you get a second chance. So if he scores the second touchdown, you get your original stake back. That's over at BetMGM. And if you don't have an account, I will drop a link down below in the description so you too can dabble in their second chance first touchdown scorer promo. Bengals at Broncos now. Tony, when it comes to the backup quarterback discussion, Jake Browning ranks pretty highly. You can do a lot worse than Jake Browning was sort of the talk after Joe Burrow went down. But as it turns out, maybe you can't do much worse than Jake Browning, He was terrible last week. In fact, Isaiah Rodgers of the Vikings, the first 99.9 grade for a defensive player in the history of PFF. Is this a sign, maybe, Tony, of things to come for the 2025 Bengals without Joe Burrow, or was that a blip? And should we learn to trust this guy?
All right, first of all, you're asking me about Jake Browning, and I have to put this out there. I have Jake Browning trauma. You may recall 2023, Jake Browning went 32 for 37, 354 yards, and 2 touchdowns for my worst sports betting beat ever. We talked about it on this show a couple of years ago. So I have bias here when I'm talking about Jake Browning. But I do think he's better than 2 or 3 starting quarterbacks in the league. Like you said, he is one of the better backup quarterbacks. He's been clutch in his short time playing. He's had 2 overtime wins. He's 2-0 in games like that. I think he'll improve on what he's put on tape so far this season. I'm willing to chalk that up to a little bit of rust for him. I think he's going to do better going forward.
And I want to talk about the other quarterback in this one in a second. But these Denver Broncos, one of the sort of sexy off-season teams coming off a surprise season in Bo Nix year 1. Lots of promise, lots of expectation. But it hasn't gone as expected so far, just 1-2 entering the week. What do you make, Tony, of this Broncos team right now going into week 4?
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that they're 1-2 right now. This is a team that I liked a lot in the offseason. I think they're struggling a lot, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on and why they're struggling so much. It's really a surprise. You did start to see some signs of life last week. They got their first interception of the season, 5 sacks against Justin Herbert. That's promising. So maybe they're starting to get a little something going here. And when you're going up against the Bengals offensive line, that's kind of a nice get-right spot for you. And maybe the Broncos can have a big game defensively.
Yeah, the defense had lots of expectation coming into 2025. So did Bo Nix. And you use the term get right. This might be a need for Bo Nix, a get-right game here. And the Bengals, like you said, couldn't maybe have come along at a better time. In your opinion, is this a spot to look at backing Bo Nix in player prop markets this week?
I wouldn't, honestly. Like, he's been playing so poorly that for me, he's got to prove it to me first. Like, I get it. You're going up against a really, really bad defense. You're at home. It is a great spot. If ever there was a get-right spot, this is it. But he's got to prove it to me. Like I said, earlier in the training camp, there were reports coming out that Stidham looked better than him in training camp. So this isn't just he had 1 or 2 bad games. Like I said with Browning, let's chalk this up to a little bit of rust. This might be a cause for concern with Bo Nix. I don't know what's going on in his head. There was a clip of him on the sideline this weekend where he just was very dejected. It was when it was starting to set in, the Broncos were going to lose that game, and you could read his lips, and it looked like he said, "Man, I had so many chances." Seems like his confidence is starting to be deflated a little bit too. I have concerns about Nix. Again, if he comes out and has a monster game against this terrible defense, wouldn't surprise me at all. But I'm not betting on it. I'm going to make him prove it to me first.
Man, oh man, it really makes this second Monday Night Football game that much more important for both the Broncos and potentially Bo Nix and his confidence. Certainly respected at the sports book, 7.5-point home faves here in this one as we sit here Thursday. Total 43.5 over, -115 under, -105. The hefty spread leads the Broncos to be -400 on the money line, with Cincy coming back at +315. You know, lots of star power in this one, I'll say, even without Joe Burrow. So plenty of player prop opportunities here. But what are you looking at from a betting perspective here, Tony?
I bet this one earlier in the week on Tuesday at Broncos -355 on the money line. It's a hefty price. You're not going to find that anything south of -375 at this point, so I don't necessarily still recommend it at this point. Do like the Broncos to win the game. This is a pretty desperation spot here for Sean Payton. I think he gets the win. The reason I'm not betting it on the spread, I think there's some like backdoor cover potential here for the Bengals with those receivers. If, Denver gets up, let's say 2 touchdowns, and they're sort of in that prevent defense and garbage time at the end of the game, I could see the Bengals sneaking in with the backdoor cover. So I'm just going to bet the Broncos money line.
How far would you be willing to go in an alt spread with the Broncos?
In an alt spread with the Broncos?
Like 3.5, 4.5?
Oh, nah. Under 7 for sure. 6, I'm not going to do this, but I wouldn't do anything north of like 6, probably. Yeah.